Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we have the continuation of the story from our sister, who shares with us her life story as a married woman, where she always gets sick and bleeds when it is her birthday. Something she never experienced until she got married. We got to know about how she fell sick again when she traveled to Dubai for holidays, only for her to come back and be called by her grandfather. Without taking much of your time, let us go and listen to her story. If you are new here on the channel, please do subscribe, share and like our videos. I would love to also thank our returning subscribers and viewers for staying with this channel all these times.
That very morning when I woke up, he was still in bed, and so I decided to rush to my grandfather's place to see what the emergency was all about. I didn't want to disturb him whilst he was sleeping. I got to my grandfather's place and my mother too was there. It was like something was happening, and they were waiting for me. I was told that the traditional healer that my grandfather used to visit had told them of the causes of my sickness in my marriage. And that is the reason they called me. He told me to wait, because the man will be coming to have a discussion with me soon. Not long after that, the man came, and brother, the things that he revealed to me was absolutely shocking. Me thinking that my sickness and the blood that did flow twice on my birthdays, my husband was responsible for it. How could this be? He was with me throughout the whole hospital journey that I went. That was when the man brought in how my husband's ex-wife died, and the reason why he did not allow us to stay in his main house when we got married. I became too curious to know much more about what the man knows about that house. Apparently, according to the traditional healer, my husband really knows something about the death of his first wife. This part of the things that he said to me was what got me into wanting to know more. He said to me that he can put me in a trance that will enable to know exactly what happened for myself. This was something that I had never imagined was true thing that happens in this world. I have heard of this trance thing, where you can project to know what happened on a particular time in life. At first, I hesitated to it, but my grandfather and mother advised that I go through with it. So, he prepared some mixture of herbs for me to drink. After about some few minutes of drinking the mixture, I felt like I wanted to sleep. So I asked my mother to get me something to rest on. She brought a mat and I slept under a tree that is not his house. That was the last thing I saw and knew. The next thing was that I saw myself walking into the house of my husband. And I sat there, and it was as if a video of what has been done years ago was being shown to me. My husband was with his first wife, and they seemed to be very happy and enjoying life in the same house that he said he would take me to later. Then, it was as if I was being led to a different place, where I saw my husband in one of the rooms in the house, seated behind a pot with some red cloth covering it. He had a red cloth also wrapped around his waist. He was seen sweating and saying words that was strange to me. He then mentions a woman's name and said that he commands her soul to go through what has been set for the soul. He did this for some time, and again I saw myself being taken to meet this woman who appears to be his wife. As she cried out loud calling the name of my husband that he should come and help. To tell you the truth, I will say that things are there in this African continent when it comes to spirituality. Even though I would not say that I subscribe to any of those things, I was shocked at the things that I saw when I took that mixture. It was during that period when his wife was shouting that I was also taken back to him, laughing and saying that everything has been completely done. And he was thanking some entity for granting his request. I tell you that I saw his wife died and he seemed okay with everything that has happened. It was during her death that someone tapped me on the shoulder and told me that this man is responsible for the death of his wife. And he told me that he had consulted a power for money, and that energy required that he sacrifice someone who comes from his root. After I was told that, everything went dark and I didn't see nor heard anything again. Someone tapped me and I woke up from that trance that I went. The man asked me what I saw during that trance. When I told him all that I saw, and I explained that there seemed to be more than what I just saw, he told me that he understands my concerns and would tell me what I wanted to know. He told me that I was to wait for about some hours and he would give me all the information that I required. At this point, I didn't mind what my husband was going to say again. All I cared was the fact that I needed to know the exact truth that lies behind the death of his first wife and why I keep falling sick on my birthdays. After some few hours, he returned with my mother and told me the most shocking aspect of this whole encounter with him. He revealed to me that there is something that I can only find out for myself. But one thing that he can tell me is what killed his first wife and why I cannot be in that house since we got married. He told me that when my husband consulted the energy that he had consulted for the power to make money, he was given some rituals to perform. And that rituals has to do with having to sacrifice 2 women from his hometown before can have peace of mind to enjoy everything that was going to be given to him. So, when he had agreed to go through with the ritual, that was when they did some ritual for him to make some money. And it was as a result of that ritual that he did that his wife died. And he was given a pot with which he does his rituals when there is the need for him to consult the energies. The man told us that he was instructed to pierce the wife's picture in a bowl of water. After which the pot was given to him to keep, and it is the pot that he will make his sacrifice in. I didn't understand that part, and when I asked for more explanation, he told me that every Tuesday, he goes and offers prayers on that pot that was given to him. This is because the wife's was born a Tuesday, and he needed another Tuesday born to seal whatever sacrifice that he did. And if he is able to go through with that sacrifice, he will not make any more sacrifices. And he also needed someone from the same town as the first wife, so that he can shut their spirits up forever without them haunting him. So when he met me and realized that I am a Tuesday born from the same town as the wife, that settled it for him. He knew he had to get married to me and do what is supposed to be done. The kind of revelations that was made by the man was too much for me to handle. He finally told me that I would get to know about him. He told me to really make him to think of the fact that I was going out on the next Tuesday. Then come back unannounced, and I will see things for myself. He said that he couldn't finish me the first time, because of the herbs that my grandfather made for me to bath with. He said that that mixture did neutralize everything that was done to me spiritually. Even though I knew my grandfather to be somehow weird, that day was the day that I got to know that he is spiritually inclined. Brother, I returned home and my husband too was not available. I didn't talk when he returned later in the evening. I slept and pretended nothing had happened. The weird thing is that he also didn't ask me anything with regards to my birthday plans that we made. He went back to being moody just like it happened earlier in our first year. We didn't talk to each other for days. Even though I would prepare food for him, he never talked to me that whole week. So, just like the man had told me, that Tuesday, I went out and left him a message that I would be returning late in the evening. It was like a movie in my eyes. In about 3 hours later, I returned to the house and saw my husband sprinkling some water in a pot that had this red cloth tie around its neck in our house. He was in the living room and was commanding the energies to accept his sacrifice. He was at the verge of tears when he was saying these things. As soon as I entered and as he was not expecting anyone, he was shocked to see me, and the pot out of his shock left his hand and hit the floor. That was when I saw the content of the pot. There were these leaves, mixed with some dark substances and water. And a frog was in the pot. I asked him what was the meaning of what he was doing with those things. He didn't answer me, and rushed into the bedroom and wore his attire. He rushed downstairs and took his car key. He drove out of the house in a hurry. I called my mother and told her of what I just saw in the house. She asked me to leave the house and get a place to be for the meantime, in order to avoid anything happening to me. I never knew that the man I had come to love as my husband will even think of ending my life all in the name of money. I told myself that, who was I, apparently the person he even started life with, he has been able to sacrifice her. I had to pack my few stuffs and run to my mother's place for my own safety. I didn't know what was going to happen next. I returned to my husband's house after 2 days with my mother to have a discussion with him concerning my decision to quit the marriage. That was after he had tried severally to get me on the phone, but I decided to not answer his calls. We got there only to see him acting strange and weird. After some time and getting to know that things will not go well for our going there, we decided to take our leave. His family, not knowing how and why I wanted to get out of the marriage, tried to make me reconsider my decision. But I couldn't put my life in danger. I told him about all that I have gotten to know about him, in the presence of my mother and my grandfather. And I pleaded with him to accept my decision to quit the marriage, or else I will let everyone know his secret and the reason why his wife died. This is what pushed him to accept my divorce proposal. That is how I got myself separated from the hands of this wicked man.
We really do appreciate you. Please kindly subscribe to the channel if you still haven't done so. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Like I always say, these are not just stories for story's sake. They are meant for us not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. After listening to this story, I will say that life indeed is something that no one can predict. And you can't even seem to understand what life is all about. I honestly wish the youth of these days would listen to advice. Money is important in human life, but money is not everything. I honestly think that this generation are making the love of having money leading them to make some decisions that always goes against them in the very life that they are living. I honestly do not know how to approach or talk about the situation or the story. I will leave everything to you, our viewers, to share your views and opinions in the comment section below. I pray that we learn from some of these stories and live a better life. If not for anything at all, it pays to live a decent and better life. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thought with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.